Good morning and welcome to Haiku Friday, January 9th, 2026. All right, let's get started with some haikus, shall we? Our first one is from Max Q. Max Q writes, Cobwebs of the mind, like dust bunny gossamers, dripping with hot tears. Now, I love this haiku. I love the tactility, the tacitness, the tactility of it. I can feel it. I can hear it. I think about cobwebs of the mind. I think about looking at nerves firing off. Those kind of have always reminded me of cobwebs. Dust bunny gossamers. What a beautiful line. And then it just turns on itself, dripping with hot tears. Lovely. Thank you, Max Q. Here is one from Bill. Now, Bill and I had exchanged some emails back and forth about, um, you know, end of life stuff, and I kind of recounted some of the stories of my job as fire captain and paramedic and being with people in their last dying moments. And then Bill said, you should write a book. And I'm like, well, thank you. I'm working on it. But this is just so encouraging to me. And I really thank Bill for this because, well, I'll read it. Inside most people, a book struggles to emerge. Quick, call the midwife. Yeah, and I told Bill that he and of course so many people in my life are the midwives of creativity for me. I find inspiration in so many things. I don't know if you've seen them. I've seen a lot of good movies this year. Sarah and I have been in the habit of going to the movie theater to see movies this winter, and we went and saw Song Sung Blue, and I loved that movie. And I think what I really loved about it was the inspiration of the characters who are there to create art. Maybe get paid a little bit for it, maybe to make a living doing it, but not to get rich, not to get famous, but just to make the art. And that resonated with me. So, well, okay, movie review. Go see Song Sung Blue. There's so many good movies out there. We'll talk about them later. And maybe talk about my almost movie gig. All right. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, and here we have one from Rikosan. And it was so nice to see Rikosan and Laura Lee just on, what was that? Geez, on Monday. Yeah, Monday, because Sarah had chemo that day. And it was such a lovely visit with them. And, talk about being with people that inspire you and, just the conversation and the action that I usually have that comes out of that conversation. It was lovely. So, without further ado, here is Riko-san's haiku. With no resistance, water flowing over stones, open horizons. Now, to me, this seems like it could be from a feudal Japanese haiku. Not futile, but feudal from, the time of feudalism in Japan. It's just a lovely, something you would see maybe coming from a monastery. I don't know. I found it quite lovely. And all the haikus this morning, so beautiful, so beautiful. And here's my haiku. Thankful now for snow. While dolts smash reality, I'll shovel cold truth. Yes. So that I'll talk about that if you want. So stay tuned. I'll talk about that a little bit. But that concludes all the reading of this week's haikus, and I encourage you, please send me your haiku. 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. I will read them here. They'll be on YouTube. You can do it in anonymity if you'd like. You can do it however you like. Like I've said a million times before, if you want to fight this destruction, let's do some creation. Let's see. Well, what's new? I've been painting a lot again. I'm working on a project for my brother Joe's birthday I'm excited about. Yes, so I've been making things again, which has been great. I've been doing a lot of writing, and of course, Bill kind of talked about a little bit about that, writing. And I have started on a memoir back in August. I'm up to 1989 now. Not quite halfway done with my life in this thing, but it's all a first draft, and I'm still kind of trying to figure out. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I need to get all the facts down, and then we'll make it into something. But in the meantime, I am distracted by fun projects, one of which has been this rake man thing about my fantasy about going out watching people who are trying to move leaves with a leaf blower and going over and over and over again over the same leaf when they could have picked it up or pushed it with their foot minutes ago, and instead it's rev, and I thought about how is it that we have bought into this thing that works worse than a rake, takes up more time than a rake, emits a lot more noise than a rake, emits emissions more than a rake, and actually is not near as satisfying as a rake. How is it that we have been programmed into thinking this is a good thing? So the conceit would be that there is this guy who's out, sees this, he decides that he's going to run around with a rake or a broom, sometimes both, and when he sees people just doing stupid things with their blower, not having any success with their blower, he steps in and rakes up the leaves for them, jauntily tips his hat and runs away. And this, of course, makes, in my world, it would make people think about things that they might be doing or believing in that make no sense at all. And maybe this would be a moment of change in their minds. But so I'm working on little projects around this, little art pieces, little writing, little videos. So the memoir has been kind of pushed to the back, which it shouldn't be. I should just put a clock down and do it. But I'm all about shiny objects. All right. So one thing I think we really need to talk about is the killing in Minnesota and the shootings in Portland. I think those people made it, but I don't know. Maybe they died too. And the Trump administration saying that ICE basically has immunity. They can kill whoever they want, whenever they want, and they don't need to worry about it. So I want to ask the question, maybe you should put some ICE agents in your Secret Service. Just saying. If they can take care of problems that they see without any fear of repercussions, I don't know. But on a serious note, this is not American. This is dictatorship. And I have to say, there is never, if you are a resident of the United States, there has never been a time in our history where our country hangs in the balance. And that's a pretty heavy thing. And I think it's hard not to be dragged into this, especially when we learn more about this young woman who was brutally murdered by ICE. She was, all we have to do is look at the video ourselves. Multiple videos. Believe your eyes. This agent shot her point blank in the face and had no reason to think that he was going to be injured. Now, he had been dragged by a car before. Well, guess what? maybe you shouldn't go back to work. If you can't do your job and you're going to kill people because you have psychological problems, well, maybe it's time to take a break. But that's not the way they're framing it. They're framing it that she was a radical left loony, blah, 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 all the stuff. Of course, anybody who stands up to fascism and Nazis right now are considered radical left. So, all to say, we need to be doing things, but we also need to make sure that we do not fall victim to despair, because that is what they want. They love it. They get off on it. And all those people who hung their little Trump flags and Go Brandon flags, we know who you are. We've seen where you are. It's going to take a lot to show us that you are not collaborators in the destruction of America. So, there is justice will be coming. And I think we need to, when this ICE agent shot this woman, people started yelling at him and all the other ICE agents, Nazis, you can't kill all of us. And they are going to try to kill everybody who does not bend to their will. They will try to do this. That's a reality. But they can't kill us all. I mean, they're going to try, I think. So we need to remind them that justice will be coming. And it will be either coming from our judicial system, or when we get ready to, when the United States decides to become more like Nazi Germany and invade other countries like they're doing and maybe going to mess with Europe, maybe it will be another country that brings justice to the United States. But these folks will be remembered. And J.D. Vance, I hope your children get their name changed quickly so they can separate themselves from the shame that is their father. And Trump's, it doesn't matter. You guys are knee deep in it. You will never be anything but scum to the United States after we have justice. So, on that happy note, you just believe your eyes, do the work, create things. You know, a great thing to do is to send me your haikus to Haiku Friday. And just remember that most of us are oriented towards truth, just like most human beings who aren't train wrecks like Kristi Noem and Carolyn Levitt and all the other folks who have sold their souls for a piece of power and do not believe in God, do not believe in Christ, do not believe in anything except for raw power and sadisticness, sadism. So, most of us are not like that, and we're going to make sure that people like that do not affect our society anymore. So, again, if you got your Trump flag up, may be good to put up an apology flag right now, because it's getting pretty close to the point where you will be seen for the damage that you've done to our country. All right. It's a free country. Do what you want. Fly your Confederate flag. Fly your Nazi flag. Join ICE for $40,000 bonus. And then go out and kill people. I mean, do what you want to do. But there will be justice. There will be justice. Justice is coming. Maybe some of us won't be around to see it. But that's just the way that the arc of the universe bends. All right. Oh boy, that got long-winded, and I apologize. Please send me your haikus. HaikuFriday.com. Bye for now.